One of the 10 escaped inmates from Orleans Justice Center has been recaptured this afternoon, according to the U.S. Marshals Office. Antoine Massey, who has been known for making social media posts as he's been on the run, he was one of the 10 inmates who escaped from the Orleans Justice Center several weeks ago now.
So, ladies, I know you see this picture. Please try to contain yourself. Anyway, Antoine Massey is one of the 10 inmates that escaped from the New Orleans Parish jail. And there are only 2 that were left roaming around the city, and they have captured Anton, and so now there's only 1 left. So on May the 16th, 2025, approximately 12:23 a.m., 10 inmates, including Massey, escaped from the Orleans Parish Justice Center. They removed a toilet and crawled through the hole in the wall behind it, and they scaled the barbed wire fence. Allegedly, they were aided by facility workers, including a jail maintenance worker who turned off the water to the commodes. And also, evidently, there were some women inside the facility that were helping the inmates escape. So Antoine Massey, he's 33 years old. He was facing some serious charges prior to his escape, including raping somebody, kidnapping, domestic violence, and strangulation, along with a motor vehicle theft and some parole violations. While evading capture, he posted videos on social media claiming that he was let out rather than escaped, appealing to figures like Donald Trump and Kim Kardashian. So he had been insisting that he was innocent the whole time. Authorities believe that Massey had been staying in hiding because he had some support from a woman he had a prior relationship with, and multiple individuals, including the maintenance worker and at least 15 other workers, had been charged related to assisting the escapees in that particular jail. On June the 27th, 2025, Massey was located in an Airbnb in Hollygrove neighborhood of New Orleans, approximately 2 miles from jail. So he didn't get too far. He was only 2 miles from the jail. He did not get too far. He wasn't going to get too far. All that shit on his face, I don't know how he thought he was going to go and hide with all them goddamn tattoos on his face, excuse my French. He surrendered peacefully, walking out of the residence as law enforcement surrounded it. He was arrested after a Crimestoppers tip and was immediately rebooked. State troopers later transferred him via helicopter to a high security prison in Angelo, along with some other recaptured escapees. With Massey's capture, 9 of the 10 escapees have been recaptured, and the only one that's still at large is Derrick Grove. A reward for Derrick Grove remains to be at $10,000 for tips leading to Grove's arrest. Let's run this clip.
He and Derrick Groves were the only 2 remaining still on the run. But this afternoon, we have learned at WWL Louisiana that Antoine Massey has been recaptured. We just got off the phone moments ago with the U.S. Marshals Office. They confirmed to us here at WWL Louisiana that he is, in fact, back in custody, that he was taken back into custody in the Hollygrove neighborhood. And investigative reporter Mike Pearlstein is joining me on the set this afternoon. You just got off the phone with them. Tell me what else you know. This happened in Hollygrove, as I mentioned?
Right, in the 9400 block of Strolitz, not far from the Costco on the way to Metairie Road. This was all within the past hour, so this is very fresh news and information. Antoine Massey was found inside of a residence. He was alone. According to Brian Fair of the U.S. Marshal Service, he was captured without incident. In fact, he gave himself up once surrounded by law enforcement. This actually came from a Crimestoppers tip, Katie. So we know that a $50,000 reward had been offered for some weeks now. They had been waiting on tips, in fact, pursuing some of them unsuccessfully until today. This tip panned out. Somebody will be collecting $50,000. It came through Crimestoppers. Other agencies involved, the U.S. Marshals were kind of leading the search, but instrumental and at this residence were representatives of the New Orleans Police Department, Louisiana State Police, U.S. Marshals, of course, along with JPSO, not far from the Jefferson Parish border.
That's right on the line.
They assisted. Obviously, they were taking, no chances or risks with these this particular escaped inmate being considered potentially armed, potentially dangerous.
Yes.
But it ended peacefully. He's now back in custody. Obviously, he'll be facing a charge of escape in addition to the previous charges for which he was being held at the Orleans Justice Center of domestic violence that included rape.
Yes, absolutely. Now, this area that we were looking at on your screen, this is a map where that house is, where Antoine Massey, one of the Orleans Justice Center escapees, was taken back into custody. If you're just joining us, that happened just a few moments ago. This area is really not too far from Xavier University's campus, which may be a bit unnerving for some parents out there who may be watching this, to know that Antoine Massey was hiding out in a house right there, not that far from the Costco where a lot of people frequent. You know, hundreds, thousands of people go through that Costco every day. And apparently Antoine Massey did not get far when they escaped from the Orleans Justice Center,
and remember,
all 10 of them.
You know, it was kind of assumed in the case of Antoine Massey in particular that he may not have gone far. We saw that previously he posted a video of himself on social media that was identified as a house near the fairgrounds, which was promptly descended upon by the law enforcement agencies. He had not been there, so assumed that whenever he videotaped that, it was sometime earlier before he posted it. But that gave them an idea that he probably had not fled across state lines or anything further. What is interesting, we've seen in many of these other escapees, accomplices arrested, booked with accessory to the escape. Right now, no such other people known to be involved in helping him, assisting him. Nobody was at that house in that Hollygrove area when they descended upon it to make that arrest. He gave himself up peacefully. Now, of course, we'll see once they debrief Antoine Massey if he provides any additional information. He was considered, Katie, one of the masterminds
yes, I mean,
of
we learned
the
that.
escape.
We learned that, yes, through the fact that they've arrested several other people, and so that has given us a bit of a paper trail.
You're gonna die. I don't want to do this.